Why do women often crown themselves as a queen?
Amazing question from It's Complicated again. Well, here's the reason. The reason is because a queen is only made by a king promoting you, right? So women call themselves queens because they want to give themselves power that they don't actually have. And what they're trying to say is, I'm a queen, I'm above you, I'm better than you. But secretly what they want is male attention, male validation, right? And so many women don't get it. And so what they do is to make each other feel better. They call each other queens. But the title of queen is utterly useless if it's not given to you by a man.
I would say we've just been mistreated.
Oh my god, this is another womanist talking point, right? How can you tell the girl's a womanist, okay? Flowers in the hair, sketchy. Badly dyed hair, nose ring, and I'll bet, guys, if you searched around, you'd find some tattoos as well. Like, guys, you cannot make this shit up. This womanist talking point of, women have been mistreated in the past. They were just treated as cattle. Women had no value before, and they were just, they were just forced to do everything by the oppressive patriarchy. No, that was not what the world was like. So why were women happy then, if they were so mistreated? Why were women happy? Why were women much happier than they are today? The reason is because women were living their actual biological proper role, and there was a fault divorce, right? So women were forced to stay in marriages and relationships where they're happiest, right? Instead of always thinking the grass is greener, going after the next dopamine hit, living the airy fairy life that leads to destruction, cats, and boxed wine of 2022. Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, please give me a sub and hit the bell for notifications. If you're listening on the podcast, give me a 5-star review, give me a follow. If you'd like me to comment on a video, compilation, maybe a blog post, please send it to theheliosblog@gmail.com. Also, please remember to leave your thoughts and comments in the video. That's what the comment box is for. I love to hear your perspectives, guys, and I will respond. I'm telling you, I love to respond to people that comment. So, all right, let's continue.
A lot as a society. I mean, men in general really mistreat women, so...
Yeah, that's exactly right. Totally. Because women getting together with men in marriages, breaking it off, taking the kid, getting alimony and child support, that's not mistreatment of men. Women getting treated better by the courts, doing exactly the same crime as a man and getting half the sentence, that's not mistreatment, that's fine. Women being able to hit men, then call the police and have the man put in jail, that's not mistreatment. No, women are being mistreated. Yeah, because women can't all get a Chad. Yeah, that's mistreatment. Women are not able to lock down a high-value man, a top 15% man in a long-term committed relationship. That's why women are mistreated. Utterly and totally ridiculous.
I feel like it kind of just puts us up to call ourselves a queen.
Because we're independent women who don't need no man.
Right?
We're all
Oh my god, just state the womanist talking points, just straight up. Guys, what more needs to be said than women are herd creatures, right? They follow the group. That's why when the fashion trend changes, all of the women follow it. Not all, but you get what I'm saying. That's why when the cultural fashion changes, the women tend to follow it as well. It's because and also why when you watch the videos, you'll see the girls are looking at each other for what's socially appropriate to say. Again, it's because having independence and not having a group to fall back on, not promoting social cohesion, in the past, it would destroy women, right? They would get kicked out of the tribe. And so nowadays, that remains, that facet of tribal life. Yes, because we're strong and independent, don't need no man. Okay, let me show you how much you don't need a man. Are you ready? Look at the flags in the, look at the building in the back, okay? That building was built by men. You see those cars in the background? Those were built by men. That microphone you're holding in your hand, designed and built by a man. That concrete there that makes the street, built by a man. Those trees there that are planted in the middle there, all of those in that beautiful arrangement, set up by a man. So who are you to say that you're strong and independent, don't need a man? Every single modern luxury that allows you to be entitled, that allows you to be ungrateful, that allows you to be so comfortable, every single one of those is stacked on the backs of men like Atlas carrying the world. So how dare you say that you don't need a man? It is so utterly disrespectful to say such a thing. You're so clueless, you don't even know what you're clueless about. And then these are the kind of girls that go to university and say they're smarter than you because they have a degree. Do you see what I'm saying? And they don't know anything about anything. They're just parroting talking points that were made in order to brainwash. They're just parroting the modern religion. This is no different from the Bible Belt Americans that just spew their totally far right, hardline Christian beliefs. It's no different. It's just this is the womanist religion, right? This is the fertility religion of the Western 2022 society. This is the religion. All right. Please leave a comment if you agree or disagree with my points. Let's continue.
Women are beautiful and they're bad bitches.
Okay, and what? Beauty gives you what? The entitlement to do whatever you want? Is that the idea there? Beauty makes you a queen? No. A pauper can be beautiful. A regular girl can be beautiful. That being beautiful doesn't make you a queen. It doesn't promote you to the partner of a king. You cannot give yourself that title. A man has to give you that title. A man of very, very high value. There is only one queen per kingdom.
And they're the creators of life.
Okay, well,
Okay. But basically any mammal or any animal that's capable of, sexual reproduction, all of them are able to create life. Are all animals, like all female animals, queens then? That's not how that works. Like, what? So you have your biological plumbing that comes from having 2 X chromosomes, and therefore you just, you get whatever you want? You're a queen? Do you see, guys, how utterly ridiculous this logic is? It's not even logic. So you can just wear your brow out in public and that makes you a queen? Is that the idea?
well, actually they say
Ridiculous.
women are the harborers of life because women can't conceive without a man. So, do women create life or do women carry
No,
life?
because men
We
can't
carry,
have kids.
They can't
either.
have kids either.
Well, right, but I'm saying we need each other,
We
right?
physically carry them in our womb and let them grow
Yeah.
inside our bodies like aliens.
But it takes 2 people,
Accurate.
right?
It does take
Well,
2
we're the
people.
ones who carry.
But
for
we
9
do all the
months. We'll
work
have
and
to
they get the
push it
fun.
out.
We carry the babies of the world. Like, you think that they would show us a little more respect? God damn it.
I love this logic so much. And the reason I love this logic is because it's so dumb. And here's why it's dumb. It's dumb because these girls have the ability to select whatever man they want. But who do they select? They only select the guy that treats them terribly. They don't, like, they could choose a good guy. A guy who would take care of them and also be pretty good in bed and etc. But no, they're choosing the absolute most attractive men who have the most options, who don't care for them an iota. And then they complain about those guys. Guys, it's just ridiculous, unchained hypergamy garbage, right? Anyway, please leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Let's continue.
We are the prized possession.
Is a
If only that were true. Women are not the prize, men are the prize. And the reason that men are the prize is because it's much easier to do what women do to be attractive than what men do to be attractive. For a woman to be attractive, all she has to do is be 18 to 23, maximally attractive, because many women are attractive all the way to 28 and even more usually. But all a woman has to do to be maximally attractive is be 18 to 23 and not eat a ton of food. That's it. 2 things. For a man to be attractive, he has to work out regularly, at least 4 times a week. He has to eat very well. He has to sleep very well. He has to fight in order to be competitive, in order to make enough money to be competitive as well. And he has to be charismatic. So already that's what, 6 things, 7 things? So many things that men have to do in order to be attractive versus women. And that's why when a man is able to get multiple women, he's a stud. Whereas when a girl is able to get multiple men, she's just a bad lock, right? That's why. Sorry, I'm making the lock and key analogy. When a man is able to get multiple women, he's basically a master key. All right, let's continue.
A woman doing the world a favor by having kids.
Yes, I think so. And here's the reason. If women were to stop having children, we would simply all die out. So yes, they are doing the world a favor. Yes. That's basically, it is a fact of life that women must bear children in order for the next generation to arise, and that is a gift. And it is, yeah, so no, that they are doing people a favor. They are. Now, for a woman to be a single mother and to have a child without a father in the house and to grow up in the worst possible conditions because she chose not to stick with a man because the laws favor her doing so and sleeping around, that is not doing anyone any favors. But that's different than her biological value as the progenitor of the human race. 2 different things.
No. The world is overpopulated.
Isn't she just...
No! Oh my! This is another womanist myth or a talking point. This world is overpopulated, so I don't want to have kids thing. No, it's not overpopulated. In fact, we could have much more humans on the planet. It's just this is what would be required to happen. Okay, most crops that are grown on Earth right now are actually not being used to feed humans. They're actually being used to feed livestock. So, as a result of being used to feed livestock, a lot of the world's available land for growth is not being used to grow crops. But it doesn't matter, right? What you could do is you could have a skyscraper and grow crops in the skyscraper, right? And you could much more efficiently grow grain and feed more people, right? So no, the world is not overpopulated. The world is fine. Also, with global warming, with the increase of global temperatures, what's going to happen is Canada and Siberia, which are like very northern, and probably Antarctica as well, and the Arctic Circle. Over time, probably in the next 200 years, maybe even a little less, because exponential growth is pretty fast, those places will melt, and then the trees that are able to grow right now in the temperate regions of the world, they'll be able to grow up there, and then the current temperate regions of the world will become tropical. That means that lots of land that isn't currently being used for habitation in the world, lots of it will become available. Now, lots of it will also become desertified, right? The Sahara Desert in Africa will grow. The desert in Mexico will grow, and the United States. The Mongolian steppe or whatever will grow, and the Gobi Desert, those will grow, and the Australian desert too. But still, even with all of those places on Earth growing, the opening up of Canada, Siberia, and Antarctica for habitation will mean that the world will be totally fine in terms of where people can live. So no, the world is not overpopulated. There are many technological solutions to this overpopulation thing. So this logic of the world is overpopulated, I shouldn't have children, no, it's terrible logic, and don't listen to that, okay guys? The reason you shouldn't have children and you shouldn't get married in the West is not because the world is overpopulated. The reason you shouldn't have children and get married in the West is because the girl is incentivized to steal your children and to steal your resources when you do that. Whereas if you were to move to another place in the world, you'd be okay, right? In a place that's, let's say less quote-unquote civilized, because to say that the West is civilized in its treatment of men would be a gross underestimation. overestimation. Anyway, let's continue. Please leave a comment if you agree or disagree.
Just creating more traffic?
Yes.
Okay.
Women are special. We literally birthed the entire planet.
No, you don't. You birth one or two of the entire planet. You're not that important. See, so many women believe that they're the queen bee, right? You know, the bee that has all of the eggs, and like you're responsible for all the humans. No, you're responsible for one or two humans. You're not that important. And unless you are married to a man of value, you're not even that like high status as you think you are. So for her to say stuff like this, it just shows the womanist brainwashing, right? The womanist brainwashing saying, you're strong, you're independent, you're a queen, you do whatever you want, there's no consequences to your actions, just do whatever you want, it's all good. And then these girls end up alone, miserable, with cats and boxed wine, because they are unwise and fail to properly take advantage of the opportunities, of the beautiful things that they've been given for being a woman. Okay, let's continue.
Like, nothing would be here without us, so.
If the thing that makes women special is having kids, why do so many women choose to focus on their careers instead of becoming mothers?
Indeed. And I actually made a video where I talked about how, like, what women should actually do is they should get married at 18 to 23, have their children, raise their children until they're independent at the age of, let's say, 8 to 10, or let's say have 3 kids, 6, 8, and 10. Get the kids to take care of each other, and then she can study at university while being at home and taking care of the partially independent children. This way, the woman can both have children and have a career, and then she can have that career to help to further support the children. Do you see what I'm saying? So women could actually have their cake and eat it too. They're just doing it wrong. They're not having the kids first and getting married first and taking care of the husband and the children first. No, instead they're getting a career like womanism says, ruining themselves, wasting their time sleeping around, and then they end up 32, and that's when they decide to get married, have children, and end up miserable and alone because they can't get the guys they used to. So it's just utterly ridiculous what women are saying, and then what they're doing, in how these things don't line up is totally ridiculous.
Well, actually, men are lacking in the father department, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, it's totally men that are lacking. It has nothing to do with the womanist propaganda, brainwashing garbage, and no-fault divorce. No, it has nothing to do with that, and everything to do with men. It's just all men's fault. No fault on women at all. No accountability, no responsibility. No, it's all men. Men need to do better. Yeah, just utterly clueless and shameful that this girl doesn't understand literally anything about how the world works.
Actually pregnant and debating what to do about it simply because of the shitty men that come up to me every few seconds.
Wow! So she's pregnant and alone. What a surprise. Anyway, I can't imagine how that happened.
Why do women often consider themselves the creators of life?
Because we foster that life.
So don't women carry life rather than create it?
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to say it, yes.
Well, the baby does, like a fetus starts off as 2 cells and it multiplies in the woman's body, and it's like the nutrition comes from the woman's body, the energy comes from the woman's body, like all of that is from the woman. That's why I'd say that they think they're the creators.
Well, they're not the creators, but they're the incubator, so to speak. But anyway, like, they're still doing the world a favor by having children. Like, and it is a sacrifice for them to have children. So I don't think it's controversial or weird or, saying something that's new or novel to say such a thing, right? It's just the way that they're having their children. That is the issue. The conditions under which they're having the children. That's the issue. So they're incubating the child as their biology does automatically. But then once their agency comes into play, right, the decisions that come once it's out of the girl's body, then suddenly they're doing it all wrong, right? Suddenly they're, raising it just with a girl, so it ends up poorly because it needs a girl, like it needs both a man and a woman, right? To be raised properly. That, like, do you see what I'm saying? It's just utterly ridiculous that it's so many poor, misinformed decisions that are just being like stacked on top of each other that create the problems that we have today, right? It could not all be solved, but a large part of it could be prevented by repealing no-fault divorce, right? So like repealing no-fault divorce and, giving the children to the husband instead of to the wife when the divorce happens. Like, I think, because again, that's what happened in like Victorian times, or like 200 years ago. If there were to be a divorce, God forbid, because back then divorces basically didn't happen, the children would go to the father, not to the mother. So if the children go to the father, it would disincentivize the wife from divorcing. Also, the kids would grow up better. Just look up the stats on that. But also, if there was fault divorce, if you had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the husband was bad in order for the divorce to happen, or that the wife was bad, then it would be fine, right? Okay, anyway. Let's go on to our Reddit post here. People who go slow emotionally need advice. Hey there. Don't have anyone in my life who relates to my dilemma, so looking for people with similar experiences here. I'm a 33-year-old female with limited dating experience. Short of it is, I wasn't interested in dating through most of my 20s. Had some crushes in my late 20s, early 30s, but none were ever returned. Was not their preferred ethnicity. Since then, I've done a lot of short-term dating and a couple friends with benefits. Most ended due to major incompatibilities. Here's a real issue. None of the guys I dated for 1 to 2 months I was emotionally into. They were nice guys, good people, had a nice time with them and no problem being physical. I just felt nothing emotionally that would qualify as romantic. Didn't long for them, miss them, check my phone extra often to see if they replied. No butterflies, anticipation, or excitement. When the relationships ended, I felt similarly unmoved. I think this girl is actually an exception. I don't think that most women are like this, to be honest. This sounds an awful lot like an asexual, like a girl that simply doesn't feel emotionally about people or about wanting relationships. Or maybe the word is aromantic. This is actually a rare thing. This is not how most relationships go. And it doesn't sound to me like, you know how like many women have this thing where they just sort of rationalize themselves, like instead of saying I didn't date, they'll say I didn't date seriously, and basically they were just sleeping around for like 12 years, right? And if that were the case, I think it would be different. Although maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she's trickle-truthing us and saying that she wasn't interested in anyone, but actually she slept around for 12 years. And that sort of behavior does lead to this, where she doesn't care about anyone or anything, right? Because her ability to pair bond is burnt out. Anyway, let's see if we can get some more information here. A couple questions. If you have experienced this, what's the way to work around it? I'm not sure if I just haven't met the right person, or I should just continue to date people and see if I eventually am into them. If I were to continue dating someone without feelings, what's a reasonable timeline to date and see if they grow? I don't want to lead anyone on, but I'm also wondering if I just need more time with someone. Oh, this is something. It's possible that the girl has just passed her biological prime, and so all of the men that she would be interested in, she's just not interested in, because those men aren't approaching her. So the top tier men, they're not interested in a 33-year-old, 32-year-old woman. So it's possible that she's only looking at the scraps of men that remain in her eyes. And so she's just not attracted to any of them, because that's women's nature. It's to be hypergamous. It's to be attracted to superior men. And none of these men that she's dating right now are superior. So she feels nothing. Very possible. That's possibly the issue as well. Is this struggle something I should share with people I'm dating? I'm always torn if I should tell men how unsure I am, or if I should just work on it privately. Yeah, don't tell them. That'll end the relationship. Any anecdotes or additional advice for people who have had this issue is much appreciated. I'm trying to find a way to more easily tap into my feelings, but with limited experience, I'm not sure it's the best strategy. On an aside, I'm not a cold or reserved person. I'm very emotionally expressive, warm, and open. I also come across that way when dating. I appreciate your feedback. Top comment. There's a concept, it's called acute affirmation, But the basic gist is when you expect to feel a certain way but don't, it can lead to a negative feedback loop where you tend to overfocus. Okay, this is just hogwash. I'm not even going to read the rest of this comment. Yeah, this is a trash comment. Okay. This is also trash. Let me read you some terrible advice, okay? I go slowly and I have steps of interest. Step 1 is I'll go on a date. The bar is pretty low. Are they interested? Am I intrigued enough to want to talk? Then yes, let's go get a coffee. Step 2 is second date. Bar is higher. Do I find them actually interesting? Do they seem to be interested in me? Any glaring incompatibilities? Can I see myself spending a weekend with them? Step 3 takes me about a month. Do I want to have bedroom fun? I go slow, but bedroom fun is an important part of my relationships. I usually wait longer than a month to actually do it, but I know by the 4th to 6th date if I'm attracted. This is like, I've had my fun and now you have to meet my bar of 400 dates before bedroom fun. I've been on dates with people I thought were hot until they started talking, and I've had attraction grow with someone I wasn't into at first. It's a fine line to walk because I want to give time to develop, but I also don't want to string anyone along. This is useless advice. She's not taking into account the individual circumstance of the girl who is posting. So again, solipsism, right? All right. I think we're going to end the episode there. So if you're new to the channel, liking the content, please give me a sub, hit all for notifications. Listening on the podcast, give me a 5-star review, give me a follow. Please leave a comment if you agree or disagree with my points. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I will actually read them and respond. I respond to everything. I responded to every single comment I've gotten so far, okay? So, again, once I have so many comments I can't respond to all of them, then I'll respond to a bunch of them still, as many as I can. But right now, I can respond to every comment. So if you give me a comment, I will respond to it. All right. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Please remember to do all of the following. Like the video for the algorithm. Comment on the video. I respond to all comments and I'll give you a heart. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can see my content on your feed. Check out all of my content on other platforms. It spreads the reach of the channel. YouTube, bit.ly/heliosyoutube. Rumble, bit.ly/heliosrumble. My blog is realheliosblog.com. My podcast, bit.ly/heliospodcast. My Patreon, patreon.com/theheliosblog. You can also support the show at bit.ly/heliosdonations and buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Thank you so much for all of your support.